This is Diane Mendez Cantu, and I will be presenting Tuesday by David Weisner. David Weisner is a three-time Caldecott medalist. The Caldecott Medal is awarded to the artist of the most distinguished picture book for children. It was named after Randolph Caldecott, who was a talented English artist and began illustrating books for children in the 19th century. A picture book describes a book for any age, whether it's for children or adults, any genre, and any subject matter. It can be conceptual and didactic, or non-didactic, merely for entertainment purposes, like the book that I'm sharing with you today. The plot of this story is very straightforward. This book is an example of mystical realism. The subject and tone are very focused, with one storyline going on. The colors are dark, but have a moonlit quality. Dark blues and greens also suggest mystery. This lends a mysterious kind of surrealism to the story. According to Russell, the surrealist draws with realistic details, like that lily floating right there on the water down in the corner. Sometimes they're almost photographically real, but the subject matter is entirely unrealistic, like the flying frogs in this story. Sometimes surrealism uses jarring juxtapositions that often result in an unsettling quality. The textures are realistic. The grain of wood is prominent on the log. The fish faces and the turtle right down there in the corner have an almost human-like quality of surprise. The lines are curved and fanciful, lending a comic quality to the book. The illustrations are very realistic. The geometric lines are not rigid. The lily pads, although they're roundish, are not perfect circles. These rounded geometric shapes lend a sense of spontaneity and a natural quality to the illustrations. Even the lines in the telephone poles, they're curved under the weight of the birds. The perspective follows the level of the frogs. At the beginning of the book, the perspective is at the pond level, the level of the fish and frogs. As the book progresses, we rise to the level of the frogs, as if they're taking flight, hovering above power lines, swooping down to the street level. What makes this story such an amazing picture book is the tension that is created after each page. Each scene gets more and more fanciful and exciting. First, the frogs float in the air, scare some birds, soar over houses, and pass by a man having an almost midnight snack. They get caught up in hanging laundry and bed sheets. As we progress further and further into the book, we can't wait to see what crazy event will happen next. It's interesting to note that in this page the perspective is as if the viewer is hiding. Maybe it's a frog hiding because he's scared, or being mischievous and sneaky. The light reflecting from this television is seen here, adding to the sneakiness of the scene. In this book, the rhythm and movement draws our eye in a left to right motion, just as if we're reading text. In this scene, however, the dog is chasing the frog from the right to the left, giving the reader a sense that something isn't quite right here. Will the dog catch the frog and hurt him? Or is something unpleasant going to happen? This change in the movement of the story gives the reader a sense of apprehension of what's going to happen to this poor frog. Here we go right back to the left to right movement. The tables are turned and the frogs are now chasing the dog. You can see in this next page that the sun is starting to come up. You see the shadow right there on the roof of that little house there. The frogs are hurrying to get back to the pond. Here, the reader gets to chuckle at those police officers who find the lily pads in the middle of the street, and they don't know what's happening. It's our little secret. In terms of space, there's only 4 pages with words. Each of these pages is completely empty, except for those few words. This emphasizes the importance of those words. In this book, those words tell us what time of day it is, but even without those words, we still can tell the approximate time of day because of the way the light and the shadow is used. I see a shadow right there on the barn door, and maybe a tail. We realize next Tuesday, pigs fly. Russell tells us that a child being able to tell a story from just pictures alone is a good way to judge a picture book's effectiveness. I think Weisner did an amazing job in getting the reader to know what is happening with only 9 words in 32 pages. My list of references is the Association for Library Service to Children and Russell's Literature for Children, as well as Weisner's Tuesday.